cheaper. But
Okay, well, let's just go ahead and get started, and then hopefully the recording will be clear.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, and generally, I post recordings as soon as this is over. Once it's done, I download it and upload it to YouTube and then do the link. So, I'll do that right away as well. So, any questions from last week?
No, I appreciate some of the notes that you gave me on mine. That helped me a lot.
Okay.
Kind of cleared some things up, which made me feel better.
Good. Anybody else? Okay, so now I'll just run through some of the common themes that I saw throughout all the papers, and if they pertain to you, great. If they don't, maybe it'll give you some things to think about. You know, a lot of people talked about doing, things with television and radio. And the big problem with television and radio is they're very expensive, and you all are probably not much different than the majority of people. If you watch television, you're probably generally not watching commercials. Or you are recording things and watching them when it's convenient for you.
Got another Mighty Milers?
So you really have to think about, if you want to spend that amount of money on that medium and not really be sure if you're going to be getting the return that you want to get. With radio, it's a lot of the same things, and if you look at ratings, it's expensive, and the times that you really want to advertise on or be on are the most expensive times, and the times that are a lot cheaper, they're at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And so you want to spend a lot of money, for maybe 1 30-second or 2 30-second spots, where you're going to spend a lot of or very little bit of money, and nobody actually hears what you're promoting. So television, radio is something that you really need to think about if you choose to go that route. Billboards and flyers. The only issue that I have with billboards and flyers is it's very difficult to track or know if you're actually engaging your audience at all. If you're working in school, a lot of times you'll see flyers all over the place, and they become white noise, so that the students or the people seeing them, they're there, but they don't actually see them. And then to get them to follow up on it, whether it's to register, to go buy something, to go to a link or whatever that is, that's very difficult to track or make sure that you're actually engaged. So, not that there's anything wrong with flyers or billboards, but those are just things to think about and how you would measure their effectiveness of those meetings.
I had a question.
Yep.
When I was thinking of TV, I was thinking of from mine, because I'm doing with high school recruits and stuff like that. Because now that they got so many high school basketball games on television, is that I could once my players play at some higher levels, I could take their TV coverage and promote it from my social media. That's what I was looking to add when I was thinking more like TV. I didn't think of it as like, buying TV time to be able to promote my players from there. I was just trying to use it as another form of using it in sort of more of a scouting, in the scouting aspect, to promote them for their promotion from a public relations standpoint by going through recording games from the TV and then putting them on our site, on our website, on our social media site, in order to promote them from that point.
You can do that only up to a certain point. So you can only and post a certain amount of time. So it's generally under 30 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was like saying that because when they do it like in a highlight form. You know what I mean? It's more or less like in a highlight form. I'm not the whole game, just taking the game, breaking it down, saying like, he played in this Nike Classic tournament, take some of the game using the Nike Classic, because it's like one of the biggest tournaments, Christmas tournaments in the United States, for high school players. Because one of my former players, he played in it. He plays for Michigan State right now. And break it down into like a highlight form, put it on my social media site or my website, and promote it in that kind of fashion. That's what I was thinking about. But from what you're speaking of, I think you're right. I probably have to think about it in a little more of a expense, more of an expense than just in a promotional. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, well, you can still do what you're suggesting, but again, you have to make sure that you're only using short snippets, because especially if you're using it to promote your product or your service, whoever's televising it, whether it's CBS, Fox Sports, ESPN, whatever, if they see that you're using to make money for you, they will put a stop to that pretty quick.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to. I wasn't going to use it in that way. Like I said, I was just more using it for promotional than trying to sell it or anything. Just trying to get my,
but what I'm saying, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're just promoting that player, or it seems like you're promoting your business at all with that, that's where they're going to come at you. So even if it's indirect, you can't actually do that. Make sense?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Okay, I thought about it. Yeah, okay.
Market just told me that.
Other questions?
Go down to Florida. They're taking them to Orlando.
They are.
They are. They don't know.
All right. So if we look at this week's content, there's one PowerPoint there that talks about,
I don't know,
news releases and fact sheets. And I think I made some comments in some of your recent posts or papers or whatever. The idea of a news release is really gone by the wayside. It used to be where we would write a news release and then send it off to the media outlets, whether they be TV, paper, newspaper, radio, what have you. But with the 24-hour news cycle, there really isn't a reason to do that anymore. From an organizational standpoint, if news happens, our organizations are posting it themselves either on their website or they're putting it out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, what have you. So the idea of that news release it's almost obsolete. Okay. Now, go ahead.
No, I was going to add, but we still, from the assignment, we still put that half a page of news release in there, just like a little form of it. Yeah,
that's fine. It's, but I think of things more from a practical standpoint, and things that you all can use and help yourselves now. There are some times that we do use a news release. Press release, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of times that's for when we're doing a press conference. So we have those press materials there. That's where you're going to have a news release, fact sheet, some biographical data, or whatever it is about the person, the organization that you're promoting. So if you're thinking about the idea of a news release and how you're actually communicating information, if you go back to what we talked about last week, those 6 things that show news value, the timeliness, the impact, the prominence, what have you. So anytime that you're sending information to a news organization, if it doesn't meet those criteria, you're really wasting your time. They won't even look at it. Okay? So you have to look at it from their standpoint of, how timely is it? Does it provide news value to their overall publics and so forth? So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I can't hear everything that you're saying, so if I could just chime in, and maybe when the recording, it'll get answered.
Yeah.
But for this week's news release, I know we're talking about news releases, I actually tried to create a news release, and when I posted it, I saw that others were talking about a proposal for a news release. So I don't know if the news release is what you were looking for, or just a proposal on how that news release would go out. So,
Well, really,
I was a little confused there. What was being asked?
okay. Either way would be fine. The idea that we have. Let me back up for a second. The way I would normally, if this were we're in class and I was actually in front of the class, so there are basically 16 things that go into a news release, and we would go through each of them, and then I would have you actually write one, or type one up, or create one, whatever you want to call it. With that discussion question, you could either do what and I would look for those things, or you can say this is what would go into it and why, and either way I would be fine with that.
Well, I did mine where I did like a half of it proposal, and then a news release on the coaching. Because I thought the biggest thing was the coaching resigned and they hired a new coach. Okay, with due to simple fact from the incident that occurred the night before. So I had wrote proposals for what a sports information director would probably, because he said that the discussion said that a sports information director was invited to the meeting for the incident, and so
right.
what proposals would he make in this meeting? So I wrote down half of it with the proposals that I thought would be important, for the incident, and then I wrote a news release based on that it was a coaching change, because I don't think that, being my experience in sports, in a news release or in any kind of setting where you want to put out some information after such an incident, you don't want to give out very little information as possible in order to, say the integrity or the dignity of the college or the organization. And so right. I thought that on the news release, you just say we handled it internally. Okay, the problem is, we trying to move forward, and and then you get over into because of the coach resigned, we have a new coach, and that's kind of how I wrote my discussion in that type of fashion.
Yeah, and that's fine, and you're. There's any number of ways to handle it, and that's a perfectly acceptable way. Keith, did you already post that? Because I'm not seeing that.
I didn't post it yet. I'm gonna do it tonight before the time go up. But I'm gonna post it tonight.
That's fine. Yeah, one of the things when we're dealing with crisis and things of that nature, we don't want to necessarily withhold information, but we want to make sure that we're giving enough information so that we're not looking like we're covering something up.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to make sure that we are we're being open and honest, but not necessarily always giving out all the details, because all the details aren't always the appropriate thing to do. But when we're dealing with crisis, if we as an organization can control the message, that's when we're going to get out of that crisis quicker. It's always better from an organization standpoint to make sure that we are the ones that are releasing information, as opposed to having a news organization or somebody else coming in with other information and kind of blindsiding us, because then we become on the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
You guys understand?
Yeah. Well, being a member of an incident when I was in college, I kind of know how that one goes.
Well, we won't talk about that now if you don't want.
No, I don't.
And I will tell you that the idea, if you've ever had to sit up, and Keith, you don't have to say what happened, but if you've ever had to sit up in front of a group of reporters and answer questions, you could be as prepared as you want to be. It's not easy. Because they're going to ask things that you think that you've been prepared, but they're going to ask you things that you're not expecting, and you've got to answer them honestly best you can.
Yeah, and I was young at the time, so I really wasn't experienced at handling a crisis or knowing what to say. I was pretty much coached into what to say, and every time I got ready to say probably with the incident, I got a nudge from from the sports information director on one side, the coach on the other. So it was tough. It was tough. I didn't know. Like I said, I was young and I didn't know how to handle it myself. So I wind up getting out of it, and it didn't really hurt me that much. I went on to get drafted into the NBA. Well, I didn't make it, but I did get my opportunity and my chance. So sometimes these are real tough situations. It's best to wait for them to ask the question, so then you can better to articulate the answer. But
right.
You also want to control the message that's going out. So, it's what you want the public to know and what everybody to know, than to let them dictate what happened.
Exactly.
It'll get ugly. It'll get ugly.
I joke a lot with my in-class students, and I've got some recordings of me being interviewed and some of the stupid things that come out of my mouth, and I'm shaking my head as I'm saying them, but it still keeps coming out, and I'm trained to give interviews and talk to people, and we still say stupid things at times. So it's hard, and when it's a real pressure situation and it's a real problem, you have to be very careful with what you say. And that really kind of leads into the piece that I wanted to really talk about, is the idea of interviews and news conferences and media events. Those are the times, especially when they're held on your ground, on your organization's site or property. That's your time to really shine in front of not just the media that's there, because they're going to broadcast this out to everybody. Whether it's a newspaper, radio, TV, internet broadcast, what have you. So you really need to make sure that the site looks presentable and good, that you're really showing the strong side or the upside of your organization, because that's what people are going to remember. I just started a new full-time job here in Atlanta this past semester. And one of the things that when I came into the department, I said, okay, these are some of the things that we have to get and we have to
really
have.
good custodian staff.
Because we generally have, we're always sending students out, and we're always getting requests, media requests for interviews and that sort of thing. We've got to make sure that if media comes on campus and, in our department, we've got a backdrop so that we can be filmed with a backdrop behind us and some of those other things that are going to promote our organization long after it is over. So
it was like your nose is red.
It's one thing to make sure that we're presenting our organization in the best light possible.
Yeah. Maybe it was just a way. Maybe
the other piece is making sure that I don't know if you guys have ever seen most beat reporters, nice guys and ladies, but they're not the most active. They like to eat. Because they're always on the road. So we have to make sure that we treat them very well. We've got parking for them close to our building. We're feeding them. We're kind of rubbing their backs. So that it's the idea that if we treat them well, they're going to cover us well. And that's a very important, sometimes lost art with the media. As well as making sure that again, that we're being honest, we're being open, and we're not actually trying to hide something or pull something over on the media, because if they think that we are, the media will always win. No matter what. They will always win.
Yes.
Sure.
I know. Who's really good is Joelle, the one that's at the night.
Hey, so about this campaign budget.
Yes.
Do we supposed to do that like in an Excel or just in a paper form, or how do we? I wasn't clear on how we supposed to organize that.
I personally would prefer an Excel budget, because it's easier for me to go through and look and see things, as opposed to a Word document. So if it's an Excel sheet, we can manipulate things a little bit better, making sure that that things add up the way they're supposed to add up, and it's just easier for me that way as opposed to a Word document or anything else.
So we just itemize what we want, our costs for everything that we want to promote or what we want to do, and then just come up with a budget. And
Donuts and Damien.
Yes.
Do our numbers have to be okay, at the end of the day we add it up, but do they have to be astronomical, or do they just have to be a decent amount?
Well, they have to be realistic. And so that's where you got to do
Realistic.
research. And again, it comes back to, if you call a radio station and say you want to do a 30-second or do an advertisement like that, and ask for their schedule, some will send it to you, some won't. Okay, and if you look at the schedule, you'll see and say, okay, if I want to do 15 30-second spots during drive time, it's going to cost me $20,000, right? And that's one of those things I was trying to explain earlier. If you do a PSA, PSAs are generally free, but PSAs are only done on certain days at certain times throughout the week. Newspapers are the same way. You should be able to relatively easily find out how much it's going to cost you to do a flyer and have that printed and that sort of thing. So, what are all the things that actually go into doing a campaign? That's really what I'm looking for.
Okay, now social media shouldn't be that shouldn't cost us anything that much, other than a website or.
Well, time. You got to
time. I gotta count time. Yeah. No, I was just saying. Dang, it was another question. You want us to do it like for over the year or just for a few months?
However long it is that this campaign, and air quotes there, campaign is on for. So generally campaigns are a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what about 2 or 3 months then? Mine would probably be 2 or 3 months because of my basketball season. It's you only do like preseason and something for the summer.
Yeah, I'd say 3 months would be the longer. So generally less than 3 months.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, even if you look at it from the big award that's getting ready to come out here, I think it's next weekend is the Heisman. Some institutions will start doing they'll do a Heisman thing maybe early in the summer, and then they'll let it go, and then starting in September they'll start ramping it back up again and really hitting it late October into November into this first week of December. So that's 3 months, but they're really only really at it for maybe a month and a half.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, about 3 months. That's all I was saying. So okay. Good.
Okay, now I know that my situation is a little different because I'm operating out of a school. And I'll be honest with you, for example, my volleyball budget consists of 3 balls per season, which is about $60. Right. And whatever copies we need, I get through the school. And that's kind of comes out of like the general ASB fund that's provided for all students. So, even like a coaching stipend here is $500, $600, so I know the budget is very minimal. And so this is why I know, like, with our school, that's kind of like a tricky situation when it comes to budget, because I really don't have a budget.
So you've got to figure out a way to do your campaign without a budget. I mean, that's the tricky one for you.
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, boy.
So radio is out, TV's out, newspaper, right?
Out, yeah. I mean, the only thing I could do is like whatever access we have here on school, which is, the free apps that we use to communicate with parents, our internet sports page on my own. So those are pretty much my means. A banner, again, that would be something that in the past has come out of my own pocket, and that's because that's for the way the school sees it, that's a fluff item that we really don't need.
Right.
That's how the school operates. So Yeah, so I know that.
So you've got flyers, you've got announcements on the loudspeaker, you've got emails, you've got other social media stuff.
Now, I am fortunate to have a friend who has his own reprographics company. So when I do need things, I make a quick call. Alex, I need this. Would you run this for me? Yeah, and so he'll donate those types of items for me. But in terms of like a budget,
But that's
I'm kind of in the same situation. The same situation that Priscilla's in. The only good thing about us is we have one of our players' cousin. He actually runs the radio station, so we're actually going to get a couple of freebies there. So we try to use all the resources we possibly can. So,
all right, so when you have that, it's still a cost. So let's just say it's $10,000. I'm just throwing that number out there, okay? Okay, it costs $10,000, but it's donated. So we
can put a section of that in there, our budget.
Right. So it's they're donating a value, a monetary value. Even that still has to be accounted for down the line.
Yeah, somebody's paying for it, just not us.
Exactly, and that's fine.
And just like the paper that we're going to use to do the flyers, I'm the IBA teacher, so I'm going to get my class to do the flyers as a class project. So
there you go. That's and see again, that I don't know if that would be a cost.
No, in reality, it's not, because they would be doing that assignment anyway.
Right.
So, they're going to be doing. Now, if we need any more, the copies that we would have to get. Initially, the ones that my students are going to do, those won't cost us. But the copies, if we need any more, will.
Right. Any other questions?
I have,
right now. Thank you.
Okay, so
I have one. We supposed to have a break in here somewhere, right?
yes.
I think it's your class. We turn in assignment this week, and then we have a break until when?
I actually, and I'm going to pull that up now because that was next on my list to talk about. So we go.
Because I didn't want to miss one of those Wednesday turn-in assignments because I don't know how that one goes. Do it.
Yeah, because one class gives us the week off and the other one it didn't, so I was kind of confused.
And then it comes later. It comes later afterwards.
Okay, so next week you do have to turn something in. Okay, the 17th and 18th. The execution plan, and you have legal and ethical. And then there's a break. Then the next thing won't be due until January.
Okay.
Okay.
But we can still turn it in if we get it done, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Now, I'm at the end of my normal semester, and the reason why I had to move Monday to today is because of the way that they do things, and I wasn't paying attention when I made the schedule. Next week, I've got something on Monday night, and we've got graduation on Wednesday. And Tuesday is generally not a good time. If I move the time, there's no way that I could do next Monday night. That's just not. I just can't. If I move the time on Wednesday back, would that work? Say like to 6 or 7.
I'm okay with it. I'm
okay with Wednesday at 6 or later.
That works for me as well.
Okay, so I'll look at the graduation time and see what time I can get back, and then I'll just go ahead and post that in the announcements and on the calendar.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So it definitely won't be on Monday. It'll be on Wednesday, and so hopefully I'll be able to post that Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, enjoy your week, and if you have anything, just let me know. Talk to you guys soon.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.